Hey guys, welcome back to my neck of the woods. My name is Dk, where I share my experience and my knowledge, hoping to lessen your learning curve. So today I have a product review, or more of a first impression of a broadhead that I'm going to be using this year. Before I get started, please sub my channel, like my videos, and make any comments. If you've watched anything on my channel, I do a lot of broadhead reviews. I try a new broadhead every year to just let consumers know how they're working. This one was made in 2021, so it's not one of the newest out there, but the design that this broadhead has, I'm seeing a lot of people have success with a similar design. So I'd like to do kind of a first impression on it, and at the end of the season, after hopefully I get to see it perform, I shoot a couple of deer with it, I'll be able to give you more of insight on the performance and how it holds up. All right, so this broadhead is made by NAP, and it's called the DK4. It's a hybrid broadhead. The one that I have here is the 125 version, and it is to give you some specifications on it. It has this front blade, which measures 1.75, which is a big fixed blade on the front, and then it has these bleeder blades that have the retention. There's no O-rings or bands or anything, that measure 7/8, so it's just about an inch on there. It looks devastating. It looks like it's going to do some damage, and I really like this design, and I'm going to tell you why. So the design on the front, this big blade on the front here, snap those back in, it pivots with a certain amount of pressure, and it's more pressure than I can pull. So if you push down on it, this blade will pivot. So if this runs into some bone or even rib or whatever it runs into, as opposed to sticking into it and not completing its trajectory, it's going to bend. Not bend, it's going to pivot. It's going to pivot. This is going to pivot sort of whichever way, as it's running through. So say it hits this piece is going to come down, this piece is going to come up. It's going to continue to cut. Obviously, you're going to lose cut on one side because of bone or whatever it's running into, but it's potentially going to continue its trajectory as opposed to sticking into something. So say it hits a piece of a shoulder or a shoulder, it's going to deflect off of it and continue to cut. And there's a couple other ones on the market that have this sort of either locking blade or a blade that will retract a little bit. And there's a lot of people having a good amount of success with them. One of them is the Sever, which I'll probably try at some point in time. I do want to do some broadhead testing. I've built a little range in my basement, and I have a crossbow, and I want to do some testing, some legit broadhead testing. So if you have any ideas on legit broadhead testing, on what I should shoot at or shoot through, put them in the comments. Let me know, and I'm really going to do my best. I do have access to actual deer, obviously dead deer. The ones that I'll shoot, I can save some of the pieces like the rib cage and whatnot, and I can shoot through them. And I do have access to roadkill deer where I can actually shoot through them. I'm sure YouTube will demonetize that rather quickly, but it will give people real life sort of medium as to how a broadhead will perform, as opposed to shooting into ballistic gel or cardboard or cinder blocks or anything like that. So if you have any ideas, put them in the comments, and I'm going to do my best to recreate them. But anyway, there's two other on the market. There's one called the Zeus, and that has a long ferrule, and as it comes through, the blades will retract when they hit pressure, so they continue their trajectory. And then there's one called the Sever, where it's a mechanical, I believe it's a mechanical, and then when they lock up at the top, they lock, as opposed to like a rage. A rage, a lot of times a rage will like fold back up inside the deer. I don't know if you know that. So, so it will lock, and then it will pivot. So it will maneuver around hard things as opposed to sticking into them. I know there's a big push for heavy arrows and blowing through shoulder blades and everything, but I like the design of bouncing off of it and continuing the trajectory. Like I said, this is the 125 version, and they all weigh heavy. which I like. They all weigh almost 130, 129.4 and 129. I got 6 of them. This is a 3-pack, and I shot it. It flies like a field point. It flies good. There's no problems. There's no extra tuning that you have to do or anything. My crossbow is slow in the world of crossbows. It shoots about a 450 grain arrow, about 330 feet per second, which is faster than most bows out there. And I use the bow version because it's up to 400 feet per second. I find that maybe sometimes because my compound is slower than most compounds, my crossbow is slower than most crossbows out there, I still use the bow broadheads. I find that the other ones, the retention is just a little bit too much, right? Anyway, if you care. They all weigh heavy, which I like, all 29.4 and 29.2. I weighed all 6 of them. They're all weighing heavy, which I like. It has the stainless blades. These are, I believe they 0.04 thickness, and the bleeder blades, which is just mechanical blades here, I believe that they are 0.03 thickness. They're both steel. The tip at the top here, you can see it's a little bit of a chisel tip there, and it's added onto it. That is steel, but the ferrule itself is aluminum, which I don't like. But I've seen some other reviews I saw like John Lusk do a review on it. He shot it right into a cinder block, and it seems like that ferrule really held up. So I'm really excited to use it. I'm really excited to see what it does. And like I said, there's a lot of people having success out there with these big blades up front on the hybrids and on some of the other more like fixed stuff, like the Zeus. The Zeus isn't too big, but the Sever, that big blade up front that deflects, a lot of people are having some good success with it. So I'm going to give it a try and try the NAP Dk4. If you have any comments or any other insight on this, please put it in the comments. I'd love to know. I've watched some other reviews on YouTube, and obviously I'm going to make my own decisions and my own conclusions after I use it and I shoot through some deer. I'm not going to, I know that a lot of some of these fixed blades out there, this is going to work well on a well-placed shot, I'm assuming. The outer box sharpness, it's all right. I touch up all my blades anyway. I like them razor sharp before I take them into the woods. But the outer box sharpness, it's all right. It's suffice. It's got a good edge to it. But I'll take a tiny little strop to it and touch it off and make it razor sharp before I enter the woods. But that's my first impression on it. I'd like to know what other people think, and at the end of the year, I'll give a full review based on performance, unless I start my broadhead testing before then, right? Sub the channel. I'll talk to you guys later. Be well.